Coming up on By the Book, join host Dorothy Spalding and today's leading authors with in-depth interviews, stories, and discussions, offering unique insight into the authors, their influences, and their latest works. Tune in today as Dorothy welcomes David Horton. Be sure to watch By the Book.
It's great.
How did you do it?
By the Book.
Where did you find that?
Did you see By the Book?
Yeah, it's a great show. By the Book.
New releases and authors?
I thought it was a great read.
I think I'm going to buy the book.
It's the best.
Did you get it?
You should.
Do it by the book.
The best authors.
New releases.
Let's watch.
By the Book.
Welcome to By the Book. I'm your host, Dorothy Spalding, and again today we have another great author. If this is a friend of mine, I tell you what, I just love to sit and listen to him because he can talk the word probably better than any man I know.
Oh,
and I get excited, David Horton, when you're here. I love to listen to you talk.
Well, that's great because I love to talk.
Well, then we got a good
I know, we got a good team here, right?
Good team. Well, you wrote a
Perfect.
book, Empowerment. Why'd you write this?
You know, so many Christians are so unfulfilled in their Christianity. You know, we get them saved and they get, you know, filled with the Spirit in whatever group that they're in, and, you know, try to be all spiritual and learn the Bible and all the things of, you know, of God. And then at the end of all that, they go, wow, I'm so fired up and excited, and
Nothing.
you know, now what do I do, you know?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to encourage the everyday believer sitting on the pew to get up and do something with their Christianity, have purpose for it, and it'll fulfill them. That's the reason for the book.
Well, how many times do we meet somebody? You used to be a professor at one of the colleges, and how many times we meet somebody and they say, well, I'm just sitting, I graduated 3 years ago and I'm sitting waiting on the Lord.
Yeah, waiting on the Lord, and the Lord's waiting on them.
Yes.
The world's, more importantly,
I
the
know.
world is waiting on them.
Yes, it is. They need them to come out and do
Yes.
what they've got. We get fat on the word and don't
exactly.
get out there and do anything with it.
Right, exactly right.
So tell me some of the things, like we don't take the word literally, do we sometimes?
You know, Jesus made it so easy, really, because he died on the cross and paid the whole price for us and basically said, all right, you are now my son, you're my daughter, and now I'm giving you the work that I started on the earth. I'm giving to you. What an honor, right?
Yeah,
to be given such an assignment. And then he's saying, I'm giving you all the equipment and everything that you need. Have faith in that. Just accept it and go do something. Go help somebody. Share the good news. Heal the sick. Do something that's going to lift people up.
Well, one thing I know, he says, greater works will you do than I've done.
Yes.
My goodness, how many people have you raised from the dead? Greater works.
Greater works.
And yet he tells us that.
And that we limit it. See, religion has made us say in false humility, oh, well, yes, that's Jesus, and he was holy and perfect, and he can do that, but who are we in comparison? Well, I'll tell you who we are. We are sons and daughters of God, and we need to act like it. The greatest act of humility that we could have is to accept that and say, yes, I receive that humbly. I know it's not anything that I've done. It's everything that Jesus has done. It's everything that God has done. And I'm going to act on that and help somebody today. Lift them up.
Be like him.
Be like him.
He wouldn't.
Exactly.
If someone asked him, you know, will you heal me? Well, not just will I, he did.
He just did it.
He just did it.
He didn't ask them what church they belong to, how long they've been saved. Do you promise to do better? You know, stop this and start that. And he didn't do any of that.
And another one I get is when you're out in the streets sometime ministering, then someone will say, well, how do you know they got really saved?
What does that mean?
Well, come on.
What does that mean?
I know.
I don't even know what that means anymore.
You know, really saved. Hey, they said the sinner's prayer. And
yes.
if they meant it from their heart,
that's it. It's
that's counted. That's it. That's done.
And they're changed. I think we don't even believe our own stuff.
I know.
It's like, are they really? Now that you've accepted Jesus, you must sign this document that you promised to not do all these things ever again. And it's craziness.
Well, and because they put so many religious things on it.
Oh, yeah.
People say, what do you think's wrong with the world today? They say, well, who wants to do all that? when it's a ride, it's a wonderful ride.
Yeah. And you're changed from the inside out. You're filled now with God's nature. Like, how cool is that?
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Because he tells you could move that tree over there if you had faith as a grain of mustard seed.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, just say it and believe it.
And believe it.
Very simple.
You know, my husband, he's a trip. But he would go driving down the road and he said, Lord, I believe that what I say I can receive.
Yes.
And he said, I believe I have, and he'll say something in my hand right now.
Yeah.
And he does it continually. And I
Yes.
believe one day he'll see that.
Sure, of course.
Because he believes that.
Sure.
And that's how we're to be. We're to believe what this word says, right?
Yes, and part of the deal there too is knowing that there is no hindrance between our saying it and it happening, because Jesus removed the hindrance. The only hindrance there would have been was sin. And he removed it.
Yeah.
You know, the disciples asked when Jesus calmed the water, you know, they were on the sea and the waves came and they said, do you not care that we're drowning here?
Yes.
Our boat is sinking. And he said, peace be still, you know, and he said, you could have done this. And they said, well, what manner, here's the great question, what manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Well, the simple answer is, it's a man who knew there was no hindrance between his words.
Yes.
Do you understand? He's a sinless man, and he knows he's sinless. He knows he's fully accepted by the Father, so he says these things, bam, it happens.
It happens.
And he's trying to tell them, you've got the same deal. Religion won't let us believe it.
Yep, it's our belief system that's stinking.
Yeah, it's stinking.
We got stinking thinking.
Stinking high-headed, I'm telling you.
We got to change that, don't we?
Yeah, let's change it.
Well, one of the ways you can do it by getting this book.
Yeah, that'll help.
Because here you say, doing the works of Christ. Then someone would say, well, what are the works of Christ?
Yeah, well, the works of Christ are not sitting in the church basement making a quilt to sell to put new shingles on the roof.
That's it.
You know, that's not the work. I mean, that's a nice project, and God bless the ladies that are working diligently. But that's not the works of Christ. The works of Christ are sharing the good news. You know, the Bible says that John in prison had heard the works of Christ. I mean, there's no clearer list than that, a title to the list in the Bible. Had heard the works of Christ and sent his disciples to see what are these. And Jesus said, go tell him the things that you've witnessed, how the blind see, the deaf hear, the lame walk, the poor have the gospel preached to them. Good news. What would be good news to poor? You don't have to be poor.
You don't have to be poor anymore.
Yeah, po no mo.
That's
you know,
right.
basically.
Yes.
And then finally, he said, well, that's included. The dead are raised.
Yes.
So everything that needs to occur there, you know, has already happened in the sense of getting those works accomplished. And what are they? And like we said, you know, it was very clear.
You know, the poor, for example.
Yes.
When my husband left me in a divorce, he left me penniless.
Yes.
And we were eating soup, and I was poor, from riches to poor.
Yeah, wow.
And I remember a man brought this verse, Mark 11, 23, 22, 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And it says, I could speak to the mountain, and my mountain was lack.
Yeah.
And if I didn't doubt in my heart, I could believe whatever I say.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that was good news to the poor.
It is, isn't it?
Because I said, I don't have to be poor anymore.
There's hope.
There's hope.
Yeah.
And that's what the word is. It's hope to you.
Yeah.
It can make difference. And you know,
Yeah.
now we have a TV station. God has done a marvelous
I know.
work.
It's a wonderful station. I've
So,
seen
made in his image.
it. You know, Jesus didn't say, I want you to go out and do these works, but you don't have the equipment that I do. But you're required to do the same thing and greater things with less equipment.
Yeah.
So God said when he made man, let's make him in our image. We're not like substandard models here under God.
Can you imagine in the image of God we're made?
Yeah, in his image. We're like, somebody said one time, if you saw God and Adam walking in the cool of the day in the Garden of Eden, it would have been hard to distinguish who's who.
Yeah.
Because it was so much like a copy in his image. Isn't that something? And so we're not only look like God or an image of God, but we've got God's ability inside of us to do these things. He didn't send us out. Now pray very hard that when you pray